meaning they could decide whether or not they want to be discreet during a certain situation, such as a minor getting pulled over for going maybe 10, 15 miles over the speed limit, and they really are like, please don't give me a ticket. This is my first time speeding, this and that. And he's like, okay, this is your warning. He wants to be more discreet about it because he chooses that's the best decision in that situation. According to the dictionary, it means the power, right to decide or act according to one's own judgment, freedom of judgment, or choice. Okay, so here are some of the pros and cons that I found of police discretion. Some pros are some situations do require the need for discretion. If we didn't have discretion, there would be a more increased percentage of crime happening. So being discreet about the little things and things that aren't that big of a deal is very important to have in the system, and have these officers being discreet. It gives them a good reputation in a way that they handle the situation well. People will be like, oh, these officers are very nice, they're very lenient, we won't really have a problem with them, so everything should go okay. More trusting towards the police officers. This can stop a situation from getting too out of hand, like a false alarm, fire alarm going off in the school. They don't want the kids to panic and go running and more injuries to occur. So this is a very good thing to have, because if the situation gets too out of hand, it could get worse, potentially dangerous, and having them be discreet is very important. Okay, now let's talk about the cons to this topic. So, too much discretion could lead to a worse situation, such as them not telling enough information that should be told to the public. If we're not telling the public what's going on and it's happening in the daylight when people are walking, doing their own thing, and we're not closing the area off depending on a dangerous situation or not telling the public and letting them know in that way could be dangerous for them. So being discreet is very important to that. Too much leniency could make people think they're able to take advantage of some situations, and that's really not a good thing, because they think the cops won't do anything because they're told to be discreet, and they know they should be discreet, and their first decision isn't just to pull out their gun or taser. So they could take advantage of this, and the cops could get seriously injured for being too discreet and lenient. So there could also be an increased crime if the police officer doesn't have discretion, even for a minor offense. So if a police officer isn't being discreet in every minor offense that happens, he just writes off a ticket or does this or does that, and the increased crime rates are going to go way more up than they already are. And this could be even worse, because we don't want more increased crime. We just want, hey, a warning here and there, make sure it doesn't happen again. Okay, now getting into the article. What is this article really about? So this article talks about how police use their discretion to handle these different dangerous situations, such as this picture right here. The police are there for a protest, and they are armed. They are in public, and it seems this guy right here is actually shooting at him or someone over there and he doesn't want to get hit. This guy has his hands up. There's a bunch of cars around. Some of them aren't even police and they're not even that far away. Looks like civilians right over there that could be shot. Innocent bystanders who aren't even in the protest. This isn't a picture of the actual article or anything about it, but I wanted to give you an example of what I mean about police using their discretion to handle different dangerous situations and how it's not always a good thing. Okay, so where did these take place and when? So these both take place in Harlem, New York, actually. One of them was a Harlem shooting in 2010, and then another Harlem shooting in 2005 on 125th Street between 5th and Lenox Avenues. So, I don't know if you guys know, but New York's a pretty populated place. There's a lot of people just walking around. People don't usually have their own cars. So they're on their bikes, or they're walking around, or they're just chilling. So these are how these innocent bystanders got hurt in these situations that the police didn't handle right or correctly. Okay. So what is the issue at hand? The police in this article use their discretion to shoot during dangerous situations. Everybody who got injured in this article was shot when they were just doing daily things. Like one of the girls, Tammy Johnson, she was at Sylvia's restaurant, and her 18-month-old daughter was shot there with a rubber bullet and other stuff because they were just standing at their own restaurant place and chilling, having a nice day, and all of a sudden these rubber bullets and stuff get shot at them, her 18-month daughter, and another guy in the situation. And it's like, how does that happen when you're doing your daily tasks? Like, they weren't even aware that this was going on. So the police officers are shooting in dangerous situations without really telling anybody what's going on. They do not take into account the innocent lives, such as on the street or walking civilians, in dangerous situations. It seems as though they're just really shooting once they see a weapon or feel threatened. So they're not really telling people, hey, you need to go right now. This isn't looking good. This seems like it's getting out of hand. Block the area off. Get more police officers on the scene. But take into account the innocent lives, especially in this article, it wasn't taken into account. And many people got hurt very seriously. People get seriously injured when police officers are negligent and decide to shoot during situations in a public area where there are civilians that are innocent and bystanders, such as what happened in the article. If innocent bystanders are getting injured, we should see that as a problem, because police should know how to handle these situations and are trained and learn how to do this. But innocent bystanders are not. We're just regular, everyday humans doing what we always do. Okay. So who was affected by this, particularly in the article? Some innocent civilians affected by this issue are 2 innocent bystanders for one of them, Gerald M. King, 78-year-old retiree, and 39-year-old mother Tammy Johnson with her 18-month-old daughter. Also, Larry Garlick, 38-year-old bystander. So is this topic controversial? Personally, I believe it is because there's definitely many different ways people can perceive this article, such as not being there when there's a situation going on, being more careful of their surroundings. But at the end of the day, like I said on the other side before, this one, people getting seriously injured. We simply cannot control where we are or what we're doing at the moment. But police are trained on how to control these situations and make sure that there aren't innocent bystanders standing around looking at the situation, doing whatever they're doing, or not. If they didn't know, making sure they know. That's their job, and our job is to just live our lives and do what our own jobs are. Okay. So does this media project... Oh my gosh. So does this media project bias on the issue? Personally, yes, I believe it does. Especially body cameras, they can really backfire on the police when shown to the media. This can give a really negative effect on this issue towards police officers and how they handle their discretion in dangerous situations. If they're not handling it correctly and that's being shown on a body cam and it shows to the media, people are going to be like, whoa, what is this officer doing? He's not handling the situation correctly at all. And it can honestly backfire on the media's opinion on how they feel about it and on the police's job. He could be suspended, he could be fired, depending on what happened. But it could really affect a lot of people. Media bias. Okay. Various perspectives on the issue. According to the article, when Tammy Johnson was struck by a police bullet along with her 18-month daughter, she, according to the article, claimed that the officers were negligent when they opened fire near Sylvia's restaurant on May 27, 2005. And I believe I can agree with that as well because that's an open restaurant. There's a bunch of people there. I know they can't control the situation, but they can they can go there and get all the people out, tell them what's going on, make sure they're getting down, staying inside. You know what I mean? They're really negligent for how they just open fire and no one really knows what's going on, and then all of a sudden that's just happening. And another viewpoint, it could have a negative effect on these police officers, like her own viewpoint. Now that she thinks, oh, they just opened fire, they're using only their discretion, not telling what's going on, it backfired on them, this and that. So her viewpoint could be very changed on police officers now. And didn't think they handled the situation right near a public restaurant, which I think myself and others could agree to as well, because that's a public place. No one in there can control what's going on, especially if they don't know about it. How does this affect the public perception? Police discretion can help in many minor situations. Seeing and knowing this now it could change how they could see their discretion. May not trust their decisions, will be as lenient anymore. And this could cause an even bigger divide between the people and the police than it already is. Okay, so is this long-term, short-term implication? What's going on here? Alright.